Now, my eldest son, he's further along on the journey to accepting that whilst dad is cringe, occasionally he'll give you some good advice. And so in this world of AI tooling, there was a platform. He'd been using Copilot and was doing fine, but I said, you should probably try Cursor. So this is one where I know that I have got at least one new user, only now I have to pay for the tokens, that's not so good, of the company that our next speaker works at. So we're going to hear from David Gomes at Cursor, and give him a round of applause.
Thank you, James. I'm so pleased that I get to go after Dana's amazing talk. The stakes are high now. I'm going to have to live up to your standard, and I'll try my best. You're looking at Cursor 2.0, which we recently announced, and I'm going to do a little bit of parallelization. In fact, that's kind of like the theme of my talk a little bit is parallelization. So I'm going to start a task, then I'm going to show you some slides, and then I'm going to come back to my task. Okay? So I'm working on this website. It was started by Lee Robb, who works at Cursor. And it's missing a footer. I don't know if you can see the browser, but my website does not have a footer. So I'm going to put my best guys on it. And I'm going to give this task to a handful of composer ones, one Sonnet 5, one Haiku, one GPT-5, and one Grok code. Maybe let's keep it a little leaner. I don't think we need GPT-5 for this. Well, actually, let's keep it in there. Add a professional footer to my website. While that's going, I'm going to start another task, because I don't really like Tailwind CSS, and I want to refactor. I want to get rid of it. Can you prepare me a plan for simplifying this down to good old boomer CSS? So I'm going to let these run, and I'm going to go into my slides, and I'm going to actually explain what I'm doing here today. So let me just get that shared in full screen. OK, let's talk about the IDE UI and why it needs to change with AI. So my name is David. I work at Cursor. And I'm really sorry, Nunu. I cannot do a talk without slides. It's really hard. I tried my best. I thought I was just going to come here and code for 20 minutes. But I do want to give people some context, so I had to make some slides. I think we've gone backwards in the product building process for software engineering teams. We have developers, front and back end systems developers. We have designers. We've got UI designers, UX designers, user researchers, and a whole bunch more. But like at the end of the day, for most products out there, we need builders. And titles are this and that, but like we need to get stuff built. And we've created all these tools, and I think we've gone into an over-specialization of our tools. I think we've really compartmentalized our day-to-day as software engineering product builders. We've got IDEs, we've got terminals, and these are things that designers are never touching. It's very rare to have a product manager install one of these two apps, right? Very, very rare. And for the most part, this is software that we've had since many, many years ago. And on the design side, we've done the same thing. We've created tools that are overly specialized for designers. I will say, Figma actually took a great step forward here. They made the design process a lot more collaborative. They gave us multiplayer. They put everything on the web. And they got engineers to start to contribute a little bit more to the design process. On the product management side, we're also compartmentalized. We've got different tools for docs and for tasks. And again, I want to give credit to Notion. Notion has done a lot here to try to bring things together in terms of task management and docs and RFCs and specs. But at the end of the day, we are still very, very divided. And I don't think this makes sense for 80% of products being built. There's too many roles, and there's too many software. There's too much software for each role. what language should we all speak? I think we should speak code. Code is the universal language that we use to implement software, and fundamentally, it is the material of our trade. And if we can get everyone to speak code, then we won't need all of these million different tools. And that's how we work at Cursor, and that's how we want more teams to work. So in order to get there, we've decided to rethink the IDE UI. Recently, we announced certain things like plan mode, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. It brings part of what you do in Google Docs and Notion right into the IDE, much closer to the code. Granted, we don't have multiplayer yet, and there's still like a million things for us to build here. But for starters, you can come up with really well-detailed AI-driven plans, or you can write them yourself. And you can give them to your agents. You can build them yourself. You can do sort of whatever you like. It's a start. We've also brought the browser into the IDE. And this gives both the human in the loop as well as the agent access to all the logs and all of the DOM, so that the human and the agent can work together on the front end of the app. And for you front-end hardcore developers out there, yes, we have the dev tools that you know and love from Chrome available as well. And finally, there's code, right? I did say that code is the material of our trade. But IDEs were built for writing code, and we're writing less and less code. I've been at Cursor for like 9 weeks now, and I think every week I've handwritten less code than the week before. I'm spending a lot more time reviewing code, and I'm sure many of you here are as well. So we've introduced a new UI with Cursor 2.0 that is much more focused on the code review experience. As you can see, in the agent view, we have the chat to one side and code review to the other. And this is where we're going to be spending a lot of our time going forward. Now, there is also a lot of work to do here. We have some ideas around highlighting like the most important parts of a code review, the most sensitive ones, maybe reordering like how the files are listed, because nobody has really thought about how to do code review UI in like 10 years. So with that introduced and slides out of the way, I want to go back to what we were doing before. So in the meantime, the agent has come up with a really, really nice plan to kill Tailwind from my project. It identified like which packages to get rid of and how to redo all of the default Tailwind classes. And it divided that work into 8 to-dos. Now, I can do a bunch of things here. I can build this in the cloud if I don't want, like, let's say I'm going to close my laptop and walk over to the happy hour. I can just click that, forget about it, and I'll get a message on Slack when it is done. In the meantime, while that's going in the cloud and not burning my laptop's battery, I can look at the footer that we asked the other agent to create. And I did put my best 8 guys on it. Only 6 came back. Really sorry about that. We're having some issues with our own model, Composer 1, which we also announced last week. And I'm going to try one of these footers and see what it looks like. Oh, looks pretty good. Let's see what GPT-5 did. GPT-5, no good. What did Sonnet do? And why did Sonnet write 190 lines for a footer? That is insane. Oh, it is a nice footer, though. I'm keeping Sonnet's footer. I really like it. But I want to change a few things about it. Oh, and actually, I think it wrote 2 footers. Or maybe these got merged somehow. Well, no problem. I'll just use the inspect element thing. I'll select this one and say, remove the additional unneeded footer from my app. Now notice, I don't need my best 8 guys for this, okay? I just need trustworthy Composer 1, our own model, super smart, gets the job done, no problem. Okay, so that's a little preview into Cursor 2.0. Now I want to show you a real-life coding session from myself using Cursor to build Cursor. Unfortunately, it will not be a live demo, And the reason why it will not be a live demo is because it would be extremely, extremely risky for me to do this entire thing live. As you can see, our Composer 1 model, especially for us internally, has been having some issues. There's all kinds of local dev problems. So I recorded this last night. Just before I went to speaker's dinner, I picked up 3 linear tickets, and I decided to try to solve 3 bugs in the span of like 15 minutes. And I recorded myself, I cut it down to 4 minutes, and we're going to watch myself write code for 4 minutes. So I have 3 bugs to fix. I'm going to start one. Again, I always put my 8 best guys on it. And it's a keyboard shortcut bug. It requires me giving the agent some context, so I explain the bug, and I let it rip. While that's going, I'm going to start another agent, and I'm going to start this one in ask mode. If you're unfamiliar with ask mode, I love it. It's a great way to build up some context and get the agent ready to do its job properly. So I try to get it to find a specific piece of code. I let it rip. While that's going, I'm starting a third agent. And this one, I'm fixing a third bug. Remember, I opened linear. I had a bunch of bugs that were filed overnight, and I wanted to squash them all really fast. So now, again, I put my 8 best guys on this one as well. So I have 2 bug fixes going in the background. And all of this is local. I'm not using Cloud for this, although I could. So while those 2 are in the background, I'm going to go back to the agent that I started in the foreground. And I'm going to keep iterating with it. I'm going to pull it out of ask mode. And I'm going to say, hey, go and actually, now that you have the context, go and actually like fix the bug for real. I'm going to give it some time. I'm going to do a bit of back and forth, actually, because I noticed in its first implementation that it doesn't quite get the bug fix right. So I do need to give it a little more context. And notice how I'm not basically typing any code. And the interesting thing about this bug is that it is a really simple bug. I could totally go and fix it myself. But it's much faster for me to prompt it out of the agent than to type it myself. So now I'm spending a lot of time testing. I would say, for my day-to-day working on the Cursor IDE, I spend most of my time doing Q&A. Since writing code is so easy, for most tasks at least, I am spending most of my time just testing. Testing, 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 testing. And hopefully that's something we can do more automation for in the future. But for now, that's where the bottleneck is, at least for me. So that's done. I push a PR. I go back to one of my 2 other bugs. So for this one, it's actually a pretty tricky timing bug with Solid.js and re-renders. And I'm new to Solid.js, so I'm trying to learn. So I look at what Sonnet does. I look at it for a little bit. I then go and look at what Composer 1 did for this bug. I compared it with another Sonnet. Notice how both of the Sonnet implementations are completely different, even though it's the same model. And I decide, OK, I'm just going to test these and see if any of them work. Because there's no point in reviewing code if it doesn't even fix the bug. So now I'm going to accelerate the video a little bit. Let's make this go faster, because this part is extremely boring. It's just me going model by model, trying to see which one actually fixed the bug. The 2 Composer models did fix the bug. Sonnet 4.5 did not, unfortunately. But the Composer 1 code was pretty bad. And it was a lot of lines. You can see the 2 Composer models both wrote like around 100 lines of code. I don't want 100 lines of code. Usually I want like the smallest change that is effective, right? So eventually I find this Codex guy. This Codex guy did an amazing job. In 30 lines of code, he fixed my bug. I test it. It works perfectly. So I open a pull request for that, and I'm done. 2 out of 3, only 1 to go. So I now go back to that second background agent that I had started earlier, which, again, for another bug fix. And almost all of my guys are done. So now this bug is kind of tricky. It's kind of like a 2-in-1. And so I know that it's going to require a bit of code. I already have some context about this part of the code base. I wrote it. So I know that it's not going to be like a 2-line change. So I immediately disregard those models that only produce like 5 or 6 lines. And I think I only inspect the Sonnet and the GPT-5 implementations. I read through the GPT-5 implementation, and I'm pretty sure it's good. But of course, I still got to go test it. That's what I do. And eventually, I was I was happy with it, and I pushed a third pull request. Now, I'm going to pause here, and I'll just say this is not what my everyday looks like every day, right? This is just when I get in the morning and I have linear open and I have a bunch of bugs. Other times, I do want to focus, and I only work on one task, potentially for hours. But when you do have a lot of these small tickets, I find it's amazing to just try to parallelize them using background agents. And for that, the UI of the IDE needs to be completely different. I don't want to be looking at files. I want to be looking at agents. OK. That's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed my talk. I wish I could have done more live coding, but that's a bit too risky. I would love to chat about whatever you guys want to chat about, but really, I'd love to chat about our own model, Composer 1, and how we trained it. I'd love to chat about how we do QA, how we use Cursor to build Cursor, what's coming next, how we do interviews, anything, please come grab me. I'm going to be around, and I'm happy to meet you all.
Questions?